that you lose that creative, that expansive energy, because you've essentially used it on extracurricular activities. I don't know how to really say that. It's a creative energy, but it can be confused with lust, right? With desire. It gives off that energy, pulling the energy back. The man will sense that, and then they'll be like, oh shit, right? A call back to the sacred feminine is what ends up happening. This is why the muse's true power with a masculine is not in seduction, it's in Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel, and hello if you are new. My name is Andrea Johnson. I am your mystical muse, your manifestation mind, your spiritual inspiration. Welcome, you beautiful beings, you mystical muses. Let me grab my coffee. So guys, let's dive into the muse as an archetype. And whenever I say the word muse, guys, a lot of people probably think like tease or think of seduction or goddess, and essentially a muse is known as a goddess. So the muse has existed more so for artists' inspiration. So it was basically like a goddess. The muse brought forth an energy of creation, and the creation was very similar to energy of magnetism or sexual energy, right? So there's where it can get confusing on where seduction and the muse can kind of get intertwined a little bit. But it was for inspiration, to birth art into existence, not using that energy to birth humans into existence. Very different purposes for basically the same energy. She is a woman who just embodies this energy, this essence, so shall we say, this magnetism, just with her presence alone. She doesn't have to do anything. She just embodies this energy of creation, this magnetism. It feels like desire. It feels like creative sexual energy, love. I don't know how else to explain it. It feels fantastic. It's inspiration, guys. So she embodies the spirit of inspiration, and artists use that, they draw upon that, and people actually are drawn to that. So she is a woman who, just through her presence alone, embodies the frequency of creation, of inspiration, by just being. Her presence embodies this, right? And it takes a special woman to embody this. Even though we all have the ability to do so, it takes a goddess to do so, right? It takes a certain level of being and healing for a woman to embody the archetype of the muse. Anybody can do it though. But the true muse is not about seduction. She is a mirror reflecting back divine potential. She embodies creativity. She embodies love. She embodies potential. She embodies inspiration, not for validation, but it's found in a sense of fulfillment in herself. How she is magnetic is because she embodies a sense of self-worth and magnetism, because she fully loves and accepts herself. She no longer looks for external validation or worthiness in external things. She has done the healing and finds fullness and completeness within herself. This is what makes the woman magnetic. It is a sense of freedom that she is no longer tied to anything in her external world. She no longer seeks permission. She no longer chases any validation from any man. She chooses who she allows in her life. She chooses her partners, right? This gives her all the freedom in the world. And because she has this sense of self-worth, this is an unfuckable confidence within herself that people can sense. And this confidence is magnetic. This confidence signals I am enough. And this quiet confidence is what pulls the world to her. When souls or energies can sense that a being or that a person has done the healing, that magnetism, when a person has done the inner work, people can sense it and they feel that elevation and energy, and it just draws them to them because they sense that elevation and energy. They sense that safeness. They sense that they can be themselves because you yourself can be yourself. That authenticity, people feel safe enough to then be authentic around you because you have given yourself permission to be you. You subconsciously give others permission to be themselves. And that is what the soul is seeking, freedom in their life. Everyone is seeking that freedom. And it awakens an energy within everybody, essentially. And this kind of brings me to my next point of being awakening what Carl Jung calls the anima and the masculine energy. So if you don't know who Carl Jung is, he is one of the greatest minds in psychology. He spoke about something called the anima, which anima, A-N-I-M-A, which is the inner feminine within every man. So every man has an anima and every woman has the masculine part of it. And I can't remember what that's called, but I'll pop it up on the screen. But when a woman embodies her authenticity, when she becomes radiant and confident and whole, she awakens the anima within a man because he feels this ancient stir within him. A call back to the sacred feminine is what ends up happening. He will not understand it, but the part of him that craves wholeness will awaken. That freedom feeling that he senses from a woman embodying her authenticity, he will crave that. When men sense that a woman is whole and complete on her own without them, it will awaken them to basically step into their own healing. So here's the thing. When a woman no longer needs a man or seeks validation from a man, because guys, whether we like it or not, our society programs women to seek their worthiness and validation in men. That's just how a lot of us were brought up. When she no longer seeks that external validation in a man, she disrupts that pattern where he's finding his worth in women chasing him. When he's finding his worth, basically women feeding his ego when they chase him, right? Because men like to be pursued as well too, right? It's kind of like men also like the hunt, right? Men like to chase women subconsciously because in primitive times they do like the hunt and they like the challenge of the chase. So then they like women who aren't easy per se, but they also like to be pursued by women, but they will not go after women who chase them. They just like their ego fed, right? They like that validation. It kind of just builds the ego. We'll just say that. So basically women who chase men who are wanting men to choose them will basically not be chosen or very seldomly be chosen until they choose themselves first. Well, then they bring their energy back, pulling their energy back. The man will sense that and then they'll be like, oh shit, right? What just happened? Where's all this energy that was feeding my ego? Because now it's not there no more. And then they will come chasing you. Ideally. I say ideally because that brings me to my next point. The man has two choices. I say the man or the boy. When the woman is no longer feeding the man's ego, the unhealed man can feel this deep unsettling within him, right? Because for so long, his sense of self-worth had been tied to being chosen. So when the woman heals, she shifts her frequency. She becomes magnetic, self-sourced, and whole. This energy shift calls the masculine to either rise or repeat the karmic cycle. Because when the muse no longer gives her energy away freely, the man must decide, will he face himself and rise with her? Will he heal? Or will he stay comfortable, feeding on external validation and distraction? Basically, when a woman heals, she's inviting the masculine to step into his manhood, essentially. She's inviting the man to basically be a man. She is initiating him into his own awakening. The healed man will rise up and face his own emotions, his own inner demons, right? He will do the inner work, whatever he needs to do to rise with the feminine, because the feminine has done the work to then choose herself to no longer seek external validation from what she was seeking outside of herself in the partnership with the masculine, right? So because of this, she brought her energy back. So she's essentially inviting the man to do the same thing, right? So he's going to have to go internally to where he is avoiding emotions within himself, to where he is seeking external validation and his worth, right? Where he is basically turning to vices, to where he doesn't want to basically look inside to figure out where he's not finding love within himself, right? So to then basically rise with the feminine and then work together as a team to then come together and elevate and love together, to build something together, right? To work together and choose love together. So the healed man will rise. He will face his own shadows, his wounds, his emotions, and he will meet his self-awareness and his strength. Okay, but the unhealed man will run. You get the idea. It's them doing whatever they can to avoid facing themselves, right? The muse doesn't chase either outcome. She knows her role is not to save the masculine, and it's not to even purposely awaken. She does so just by her healing herself. Automatically, she awakens those around her. Her elevation and energy is going to heal others. And this is where you're going to find that magnetism. It's either going to draw in people who are attracted to that want that magnetism, that like that energy that she's giving off, that sense of authenticity. And then you're going to have the unhealed, that it's going to repel them, that it's going to scare them, essentially. It's going to invite them to heal themselves, and they're not going to want to look at themselves, right? Because a lot of the times when you get an unhealed masculine, and especially when you get a woman that leaves a relationship with a masculine, they can't really process the reason why that feminine is leaving that relationship. In their mind, it is basically them telling themselves, oh, it's for another man. It's hard for the masculine to accept that a woman just leaves the relationship because she feels a sense of completeness and wholeness on her own and being by herself. That is one of the most awakening things for a man, when a woman leaves a relationship and is better off by herself, not getting into another relationship, not doing anything else, but her life improves. She's single, she's making more money, her job improves, her looks improve, her whole entire life improves, her relationships improve. When that happens, it kind of signifies what the relationship was, how the woman healed and basically was inviting the man to do the same thing. So that is a very awakening moment for a lot of men when they don't really comprehend why a woman leaves and has nothing on the other side, essentially, that they can really see, but it's all internally, especially in the beginning. Anyway, so let's go into the creative power of the sexual energy of the muse, what really magnetizes and how you can use this creative power to manifest. The muse's energy, this embodiment, is the creative life force, okay? And the energy of creation, guys, is sexual energy. And sexual energy is a frequency. It's used to create life and used to create anything in this realm, right? There's no difference in it. You have to embody it, right? And that is why it is so magnetic, is because it's life. It's life-giving. Our souls want that, right? We feed off of it. So it's a sensual magnetic energy and it's alive, right? So that's why it draws us into it. It's life-giving. So it's the energy of manifestation itself. So when this energy is shared with a healed man, it becomes a sacred partnership with the muse and a masculine. With a healed man and a muse, it's not depletion, it's creation. It creates a circuit, right, of energy that feeds itself. It elevates. It doesn't deplete. So together they channel this energy. It can manifest into something purposeful. They can create together, right? They can combine forces of creation and manifest together and build something. So it's expansive. But when you have, let's say, a muse, a healed woman, and you have an unhealed man, the unhealed man can mistake the muse's energy for lust. That energy can burn out very quickly because that connection will lose its magnetism. It's like whenever you indulge in something, guys, whenever you have desire and you indulge in that desire, the more you indulge in it, the more it loses its magic. So it's kind of the same thing. Whenever you have that magnetism between two people, and this is when the muse's energy, I'm going to go back to the artist example, between the artist and the muse, it's not a sexual thing, guys. It's just the embodiment of the woman radiating this, basically magnetizing sexual energy that inspires the artist to create. It's a creative energy, but it can be confused with lust, right? With desire. It gives off that energy. So you have to be careful that you don't mistake this energy for something that it is not. You use it for creation, for manifestation in the physical realm, not for creation in that aspect of it. Because if you do indeed do the deed, it will basically lose its magic, essentially. You will fizzle out. The muse and the relationship with the masculine will basically dissipate. You will not be able to use that energy anymore. I kind of look at it more in terms of like the siren and let's say the masculine energy. You kind of see those old time like stories where you have sirens and then they hook up with like a man and then they lose their energy. They lose their sirenness, their magic, and then they kind of like fall apart or they lose their glow or something. They lose that energy. And essentially that's what happens. You lose that creative, that expansive energy because you've essentially used it on extracurricular activities. I don't know how to really say that, but you don't want to use it on that because you will lose it. It loses its specialness, is what I'm trying to say, unless you get a healed man, if that makes sense. Because then when you get a healed man, you will expand with it. The healed man will build, not use it as lust. It's all about mindset and energy. This is why the muse's true power with a masculine is not in seduction, it's in discernment. Most magnetic women are the ones who know when to withhold that energy and when to share it consciously. So let's talk about the healed you. So when both the masculine and feminine are healed, something sacred happens. The woman no longer needs to be chosen and the man no longer needs to be validated. They choose themselves. And from that, they have wholeness. And from that wholeness, they can then choose each other. You choose the other person. And because you yourself are already whole and that other person senses your wholeness because they themselves are already whole, you're choosing to be with that other person. And there is something very, very magnetic and sacred about choosing to be with somebody and not needing them. When you don't need somebody, but you choose to be with them, that is love. That is divine union. And that is creation and motion. Next time you feel that pull to chase or to prove your worth, just remember, your energy is sacred, your love is medicine, and your magnetism is knowing that. Your magnetism is you choosing you each and every single day. And guys, it is okay if sometimes you forget that. I truly believe that we sway, we forget. It's easy to do so. The world is gonna change, it's gonna test us. Just because we remember it one day and we feel that magnetism doesn't mean the next day we might feel that pull again. You know, it doesn't mean that we're broken. It's just coming back to the realization that you fully and 100% accept yourself for who you are and what you're going through and what you're feeling. That is the bottom line, is just the self-acceptance of you, of whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, your wholeness, your darkness, your light, all of it. It is the love and the knowing that you are worthy of the love. And because you know you're worthy, you know that you no longer need to seek it in external things, people, validation. I am sending you guys all of my light and all of my love. Sat Nam.